G'day viewers, Retro Man here, and today I'll be presenting one of the best songs of the 80s. It's by Richard Marx. Stay tuned for more.
Coming to you from a basement studio somewhere down under, it's the 80s Show with Australia's Retro Man. On tonight's show, Retro Man talks about one of the best songs of the 80s, Endless Summer Nights by Richard Marx. Well, what are we waiting for? Lights, camera, Retro Man!
G'day viewers, Retro Man here, and welcome to the 80s Show. Now today I have another episode of Best Songs of the 80s. Man, I love doing these because it's so great reflecting on the music of the past, those songs that resonate and touch a chord with us, and I can't stop talking about them and listening to them today. So here I am with another one. This song is by an artist, a pop rock singer called Richard Marx. Actually, he's a bit more than pop rock. There's a lot of soul to this guy, and that's what he brings to his music. Now, I could have chosen one of many songs. I mean, he's got such a catalogue. When he came on the scene in the late 80s, there was just song after song that really hit the sweet spot. The song that I've decided to choose, the one that I think is one of the best songs of the 80s, and certainly one of the best in Richard Marx's catalogue, is a beautiful love ballad called Endless Summer Nights. Now, this song came out in January 1988. It was actually the third single off Richard Marx's self-titled debut album. Now, Endless Summer Nights is a song about love, loss, sorrow, heartbreak, longing, those shared moments. In fact, it was a song that Richard came up with after he went on a vacation with his then girlfriend, who later became his wife, Cynthia Rhodes. So Richard and Cynthia went on this vacation to Hawaii, and shortly after that vacation, Richard came up with this amazing song, Endless Summer Nights. And that vacation served as the inspiration for a song that has touched so many people. And the interesting thing is, Richard got together with Cynthia Rhodes. I mean, Cynthia Rhodes was an actress / dancer. She'd been in Flashdance, that massive movie in '83. She was also in that Saturday Night Fever sequel, Staying Alive, with John Travolta. And of course, she played Penny in Dirty Dancing. So Cynthia really was hot property. And somehow Richard Marx won her heart, probably through his music. But this was a song inspired by that little vacation they took to Hawaii. And man, what a song. I mean, this song you would think would have made it to number 1. But it didn't quite get there. It made it to number 2. And you know what was number 1 when it made it to number 2? It was a Rick Astley song that I'm sure you all remember, called Never Gonna Give You Up. So Rick Astley was the guy that kept Richard Marx out of the top spot. But anyway, Richard Marx spent 2 weeks at number 2. And man, this song is something else. I mean, it begins with this fantastic saxophone solo. And this sax solo really puts you in the mood before Richard steps up to the plate and gives these soulful, beautiful, melodic lyrics. And I tell you what, guys, I mean, this is a song that really talks to people that were teenagers and young people that were in love in the late 80s. This is a song that really embodies the spirit of those shared moments, of those feelings. And I think Richard nailed it. I think when you listen to the song, it just has so much heart and soul. and I think all of you out there will agree that Endless Summer Nights is one of the best songs of the 80s. And the funny thing is, when Richard was trying to make it in the industry in the mid-80s, this song was actually rejected by every single record company. Yet, when he finally got picked up by EMI and Manhattan Records, and he released that self-titled debut album, this track was the one. I mean, there was two other singles released before this. There was, of course, Don't Mean Nothing was the first single, and Should Have Known Better was the other single. And this was the third one, Endless Summer Nights. And I tell you what, once people heard that song, they just fell in love with the music of Richard Marx. So Endless Summer Nights is one of the best songs of the 80s. It also has a very interesting music video. Actually, there's a girl in this music video. She's a French model / actress called Myrtle Blavake. Anyway, she at the time was married to Sam J. Jones, Flash Gordon. And she was married to Flash Gordon when she shot this music video. Anyway, she's in there. Richard's in there in his standard late 80s look. I mean, in those days, he used to rock that shaggy dog mullet, and he had that trench coat. He had some style. And this music video really encapsulates that late 80s style and groove of Richard Marx. And Endless Summer Nights is one of those fantastic songs. As I said, it's a love song, and Richard has said it kind of is this summer love song, but it's got a little twist to it because it's also about when lovers kind of separate and go their own ways. So I think it's got a lot of heart, it's got a lot of depth, and that's what makes it one of the best songs of the 80s. So yes, Endless Summer Nights is just one of those songs that some people can't get enough of because it fills them full of so many emotions. And amazingly, when Richard did his concert, A Night Out with Friends, back in 2012, it was the song that he chose. It's the first song that's on this DVD here. It's the first song he decided to perform in concert that night. And it's captured on that DVD for prosperity. So we all remember the music video. We all remember listening to this track. But if you want a bit of a different version, definitely check out Richard Marx, A Night Out with Friends. And that's like a 2-hour concert. And there's so much soul to this concert. And the concert kicks off with Endless Summer Nights. I mean, he chose that song for a reason, guys, because it's such a special song in Richard's catalogue. So as I said, Endless Summer Nights is one of the best songs of the 80s, and it's been an absolute pleasure talking about it today.
And I remember every moment of those endless summer nights.
So, what do you think, guys, about Richard Marx and Endless Summer Nights? I mean, do you rate it up there as one of the best songs of the 80s? Has this song hit the sweet spot for you? What do you think about Richard Marx? I mean, you couldn't escape his music in the late 80s. He was literally everywhere. And hey, people are still listening to Richard Marx today. In fact, he's been touring. He's also had a book out in recent years. And I will be unboxing that Richard Marx book on the next episode of the 80s show. So when I come back, guys, I have a little bit more Richard Marx for you. I will be unboxing his memoir, so that's going to be a lot of fun. So guys, in the meantime, please like, comment, and subscribe, and keep watching the 80s show because you will never know what is going to pop up next. In the meantime, guys, this is Retro Man, living the dream, 80s style. Stay gold.
Thanks for watching. Retro Man will return faster than a boomerang and with hair just as impressive as Richard Marx. Please subscribe and good night, viewers.